Yes, you read the title correctly, my indie game will release on Steam and already has a Steam page set up. So, it has been 3 months since I last made a video on Eye of the Portal, and in that time, so much has happened. I've had a nomination for an award, I've got an official website set up, and progressed the actual game so much. So let's get into it. This is the Goblin Grotto, and it's the second area in Eye of the Portal. When designing this area, I tried to reflect where an actual goblin might choose to live, so the area is designed off an abandoned mineshaft. I also added a flag and a torch to make it seem more lived in by the goblin. Currently there are 4 enemies in the area. I plan to add more though, but for now we have the blob goblin who shoots enormous bullets at the player, the peasant goblin who will approach you and then shoot easy to dodge bullets at you, the spinning goblin, the clue is in the name, he will spin and shoot bullets at you, the staff goblin, similar to the peasant goblin, just shoots faster and wields a staff. Now let's address an issue I've had with the game for a while now, which is the reward system. So the problem is when you clear a room you'll get a chest which spawns weapons which are all pretty balanced. This is fine though it doesn't reward the player enough if they do well. So the solution is this chest here, which when activated will spawn a much harder round. When you clear this wave the player is guaranteed to get one of the items from the emerald set. This encourages the player to take these challenges and hopefully helps me improve so I can make further areas harder. Moving on now to the Goblin Grotto boss fight. For the Goblin Grotto and any future areas where the boss isn't vital to the story, I will go over more Binding of Isaac approach to the boss fights. This means that I will have around 2 to 3 different boss fights per area, but each one is a smaller, less intense fight. That being said, here is the first boss of the area. His name is the King of the Grotto and he will randomly move around the arena while shooting bullets at the player. He does also have a second phase, this is where he shoots loads more bullets. I have also started to work on the second boss fight of the area, though I haven't programmed them in yet, I've just done the visuals. On the topic of visuals, I've been practicing the 12 principles of animation. I hope my practice is obvious in my future characters and designs. And a final touch I've added to the boss fights are these splash screens. I just thought they looked pretty cool. The next big feature I've added is the opening to the game. After picking your class, we are brought to the overworld, an area which your kind has not been able to reach because of the curse from the eye. The whole sequence is a flashback which I hope brings a bit of curiosity to the player. This also means that there will hopefully be a bit of story in this game. By no means a great one, but I thought an okay story is probably better than no story. Stuff like this takes ages to make, so if you could hit like and subscribe that would be very appreciated. Another feature I've added is the dialogue system. I went with a simple approach, so it's just white text on the screen, though I thought it's quite effective. I've also added the type function, which makes it look like the text is being typed onto the screen. Most modern games had this, so I thought I should too. What's the point of a dialogue system if you don't have characters to talk to? Well, I've added many characters that you can interact with now. First of all, we have Kyle, who is a crazy kid who runs around with a knife, so he can protect himself. Now you can actually talk to the first boss in the game after you defeat him. He claims that he has been put under the order of the eye and can't resist. There is the duck, who needs your help to find his family. There is the ability shopkeeper, and finally the builder, who has a pretty significant role in the game which we will get into later. I've also added a new class which is the wizard. He carries a wand which can pierce enemies. This class has decent health and I think it's a class for people who want a little bit of challenge while still having a bit of health to lean back on. So you may have noticed in some of the previous clips that there is now a currency system in the game. You will get gold from chests. Some chests will give you more gold than others. For example, after killing a boss you will get more gold than after clearing a normal round. This on its own isn't much, but it's how you spend your gold in this game which really makes a difference. So I introduced you the builder. All of this is still a work in progress, but all the main features are in place. When talking to the builder, he will show you his shop, where you can build buildings. For now there is just this one, but in the future there will be many more. The first one is this training room. When you build it, this cool cutscene thing plays, where the builder somehow summons a building from the ground. Then you can access the building you just made. And this building is the training room. I want this game to be a roguelite game rather than a roguelike game, which essentially means that the game will have some kind of permanent progression. And this building is the start of that. When we enter the building you can see that there are some weapons on the ground. These are all tier 1 weapons and I plan to make higher level training rooms where you will be able to get higher level weapons. And on its own this building seems fairly pointless, however I just made a new building called the shortcut room. And when you buy the building and enter it, there is a portal which takes you directly to the Goblin Grotto. So combining these 2 buildings together, you can get a decent weapon and armor set and travel directly to the Goblin Grotto. Also, just building your town is quite satisfying in itself, so I'll probably expand on this mechanic much more. And now for the main part of the video. My game finally has a Steam page and a website. The website URL is PhilDev.uk, and the Steam page link will be on screen and in the description. Please go and wishlist the game, it will really help out when the game launches and will motivate me to make this game really great. Thank you for watching and goodbye.